Sorry about that.
Hey, what's up?
I was trying to adjust some stuff on my computer when you were calling.
Oh,
Also, instead of on my last phone, you had to swipe to answer, and on this one, if you're already doing something on the phone, you just have to press the thing. So I tried swiping it before I pressed it.
gotcha. It's all good.
Yes, ma'am. I'm bad. I don't know what to do. I mean, I
Yep, this is how I spend most of my nights, usually. So,
when I was 16 and Doug Cowden and Eric stole that money from me. And Mom went out to Doug's camper to get it back. That was when I left the house. And here's the thing, I didn't threaten to tell on her for doing cocaine with him. I didn't threaten to do any of that. I was just mad that she went out there to get my money back and she came back in coked out of her gourd with her hair messed up and her shirt buttoned up wrong.
no.
I don't know
Well,
how much of that you remember. I do remember you were in the house and it was me, and I think Michael was still there at the time.
I don't remember much of that.
It was over 20 years ago, so. Yeah, a lot of people, they tend to remember the stuff that's traumatic for them, but not necessarily the things that are traumatic for someone else, so I don't blame you.
Alright. I'm trying to see.
You're what?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I don't remember much of growing up.
Yeah. Well, that was when I went to Pine Ridge Job Corps Center.
Uh,
And
I don't remember you being there much. That's all I remember.
that's funny because Scott grounded me for life. I never got to leave. I do remember Kristen Kepler used to come over to visit you, and then she'd come over to my room instead.
Yeah.
And then I also remember she used to come by and park in the alley, and Ty would bark at her, and she'd be leaning out her window going, shh, 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 shh.
No, I don't remember that either. But
Yeah,
that was a different part of the house too. So
it was.
yeah.
But you knew she had a big ass crush on me. Well, maybe you might not even remember that either.
No.
Yeah, she used to have a purse in high school that was see through, and because I wrote for the chapel, the what do they call it? The Buffalo Chip, the school newspaper. She had
Oh
all the
yeah.
articles that I wrote for the Buffalo Chip. They
Oh
were all
yeah.
taped up in her locker, and she had all sorts of clippings of what I wrote inside of her see-through purse, so she could make sure I saw it.
Oh yeah.
And then Amanda, I didn't find out that I was her first crush until like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Mm.
I remember when I asked her out, she said no. I'm like, if I was your first crush, why'd you say no? But anyway, I kind of sort of got my car started. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it started in the morning because it's cold.
Right.
But
It's supposed to be warmer, so.
well, first thing in the morning it won't be.
Oh duh. It's first thing in the morning.
Oh, now you're gonna get all sarcastic and snazzy at me, at you. That's all right. We're all pretty fluent in sarcasm.
Yeah. It's what we dealt with.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know. It makes sense. You didn't remember me there much because really, I moved there when I was 15, and then I moved out when I was 16. So I guess I was only at Mom's house for about a year.
Yeah.
And even that was off and on.
Yep. That's why I don't remember you being there much.
That's right. That doesn't make you a bad person to have the memory that you do. If you remember something, you remember it. If you don't, you don't. And I wasn't there
Yeah.
much, you know.
The times that I do remember you being there, we played Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Because we were all four there, and we were all a Ninja Turtle.
Yo. Absolutely. I remember
We
that, and I also remember.
we went fishing,
Yeah.
all four of us. Yeah.
I remember playing with your My Little Ponies.
Yeah. We also played at the creek.
Yo.
Yep.
I didn't get to do much of that. Although
No.
mom was genuinely surprised when Brandon Jepson came over to the house. She's like, "You're friends with him? He's popular." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm friends with him. Him and his
Right?
sister are the only kids that are nice to me. They're the only ones that talk to me."
Yeah.
And they
She
were
was
too.
surprised that you were friends with him.
I also remember walking to school while you rode with Regina. A lot of people, when I tell them that story, like people in chapel, a lot of them, they remember because they used to pass me on their way to work, never offering me a ride, just driving right by. But when I tell people that aren't from here, they're like, "There's no way you walked 9 miles to school every day and 9 miles back. Let me guess, it was uphill both ways." But am I wrong? It's 9 miles away from Chapel, right?
Roughly.
Roughly. Yeah. That's well.
And there
That's what
are
it says on
some
the sign.
hills, so yes.
It's a little bit further, I guess, because our house is pretty close to the middle of town at that point in time, and the school is pretty close to the middle and the north end of Lodgepole. So it's probably
Yeah.
closer to 10.
Yeah. That's what I was like, ish. Yeah.
Tara, I'm really scared.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I'm I'm tired of being victimized. I'm trying to get help, and everybody told me right from the start that I needed family help, but I don't know. When at Grandma's funeral, the way that Eric and Mom acted towards me when I tried to tell them, like they just brushed it off and changed the subject. Mom just kept on
That's
complaining
where
she
I'm
wanted
at,
normal kids.
Sean. I know.
She'll do plenty for Mikey Witcher. She'll do plenty for Andrew Witcher.
Oh yeah, jump through the fucking hoops, dude.
I just don't get it, especially after all of her stuff about how she hates child molesters and she hates rapists and shit like that, and then telling us about how horrible Grandpa was, and then right at the end of his life, she's right there trying to butter him up to get at Grandma Gross's house.
I don't know if that's what it was, but
Well, I don't know if that's what it was either, but knowing Mom, that's really where it takes me. I mean, all right, most of growing up, I wasn't sick, but whenever I was at Mom's house, I was sick. Almost the whole time. And I think that Mom has Munchausen by proxy. Like if somebody's already sick, it makes her feel better to care for them. But if somebody's not sick, she doesn't have somebody to do that with. So,
she
and
thinks she has to take care of somebody.
right, and I don't, I
And
don't.
then she wonders why she ends up miserable because she overdoes things, and then she ends up being sick because she doesn't take care of herself in the process. And then she wonders why she ends up the way she ends up. Like,
She
I
she
know.
has some real manic issues too. Like,
Like, I know, dude. Like, I watched her do it trying to take care of me after I had ankle surgery and trying to take care of Grandpa. She was overdoing it, dude.
well,
So, I know.
that note that you wrote about how I was the only one who could help you, at that point in time, like that's when they took me away. So I'm sorry that I wasn't there and you had to deal with
Oh,
mom.
dude, I totally understand. Like I don't know, dude. I, I, I had to make lemonade out of lemons. That's my life right there. It's like I gotta make lemonade out of lemons. That's what I do.
Yes, ma'am.
So I mean, I do my best with what I get, and the shit happens. So I had to deal with it.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm trying to help out the best I can given my resources. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
right now I've got, Terry Jepson trying to push me to kill myself. It's so screwed
Ouch.
up.
Right. I hate when people do that. It's like, no, it's just
You tell them how they can hurt you, and immediately they do it.
right.
But at the same time, like, I don't want bad things to happen to them. I just want them to be honest. It's not like I'm asking them
Right.
to lie. It's not like I'm asking them to go commit crimes for me. And that's the thing, is like, through all of this, I wasn't asking anybody to commit crimes for me. I was just asking them to come forward and tell the truth. And most of them are afraid. I mean, I've got so many screenshots of telling me that they're afraid. I've got recordings with my autism advocate with her telling me the reasons that she's afraid. I had to deal with Candace Bondurant, who was scared, of the police and of the way that they treated her and the way that they were going to kick her out into the cold, her and her two daughters, out into the January cold for helping me. And instead of reporting it like she should have, she treated me like crap. And of course, I cursed at her. I definitely did. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm being abused, and the least that you could have done is that when they were harassing you, you could have told. You could have spoken up. But she
Uh,
didn't. And, later on, she wanted to throw me away like I was trash for telling the truth. And that's the biggest issue through all of this. Like, I told all of my worst sins on Facebook before Natalie was killed. I went, you know what? This is really messed up, and I have to be the most honest person I can be. I even admitted that I accused Scott of molesting me when he didn't. You know,
yeah.
like since I was in Centennial Peaks at 6 years old, I have always felt bad about that. And me and Scott, ever since then, me and Scott have never been able to bond.
Yeah.
A lot of people when I was living there, they're like, hey, because I wanted to learn a lot about electricity and because of some of the projects that I had gotten in a science kit off one of the garage sales here. And
Mhm.
I asked Scott, and Scott wouldn't take me along. He wouldn't teach me nothing. He just, and I get it, I understand why.
Yeah.
When you say something about somebody like that and it's not true, like you can really destroy their lives.
Hey, son, hold on a second.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I ain't gonna fucking worry about it. I got my cameras going. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I was hearing noise outside.
Oh, very good. You're all right. So, I don't know, Tara. Like, I need somebody to advocate for me who's family. And, I know you said you're not smart like I am, but that's not true, Tara. We're all smart in different ways. And
Yeah.
you are intelligent. You're not an idiot. I know that you got.
Well, I'm definitely learning a whole lot of what I'm dealing with right now, going through all these videos, and I need to get some kind of software to go through these videos a little more. I'm not sure what to go to.
You got a different perspective on what I'm going through because of what you're going through.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing, is that if it's not happening to them, they don't care. Now that it's happening to you, like, you get it. You get not being able to go to sleep. You get having to record everything. You get having to be afraid. And a lot of people, they're like, all right, well, you got 200 hours of footage. You're basically wasting time. Well, that's the thing, is that when the crime actually happens, sure, there's 200 hours of absolutely nothing. But then when somebody shows up and actually does it, you have it recorded. And with me, I recorded so much, but right at the beginning, I didn't have the ability. I needed mom to, for once, be a mom.
Good luck with that. She hasn't been a mom since, I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Well, I'm glad we agree on something on that one.
My God, I'm going to tell you something though, Tara, and I love Scott so much. Like, he was better
Scott's
to me
been
than my
more of
own
a
dad.
parent in the entirety of it than mom has been a
Yeah.
parent in general. That's my 2 cents on
I
that.
remember when she beat the shit out of his vehicle and kicked him out for being gay over that video game.
I thought that was because he had a girlfriend.
No, he all right, he was playing World of Warcraft, and on his game in World of Warcraft, the character that he had was a guy, and there was another guy who had a character, and that guy's character was a female. So in the game, Scott's character married this other guy's character,
It's a fucking game.
and mom went off on him for being a homosexual, and you know how she feels about gay people.
Oh yes, I do.
And that's weird because, all right, you probably don't remember this because, like, this was a long time ago. But she used to have a friend named Cece who was born with male and female parts. And they, at the time, didn't have the test to be able to tell if your hormones are male or female. So they just chopped off his male parts, and it turned out that he was. It's called a hermaphrodite, but he wasn't a
Right, yeah.
hermaphrodite anymore
Yeah.
because they cut off
Mhm.
his stuff. And his name was Cece.
Yeah.
But I guess that's different because, like, for mom, she has this idea about how homosexuals choose to be evil, and, well, Cece didn't
Right.
choose for
Yeah.
that to happen to him. So I guess it does make sense.
Right. Yeah.
But, with my dad hating black people as much as he does, and mom hating Mexicans and homosexuals, like, it's amazing that I grew up not to hate them too.
Same here.
Yeah.
Right. Um. Like I don't judge people. People are all the same. It's all what's under it. Doesn't matter what color you are.
Exactly. And I'm sorry for getting scared. I am.
No, I totally understand because of the situation I am. I barely leave my camper anymore, especially after watching so many of these videos now. I don't even want to go outside after watching what I found on these videos, Sean.
Well, I've been trying to
I'm
turn in.
afraid to let my dog out. Oh my God, Sean, after watching these videos.
You know, it would be nice.
Yeah, a brick wall to block the train people across the train tracks. Let me put it that way.
Well, I'm trying to find a place, and since you're as paranoid as I am, and don't take that as paranoid schizophrenia, because your paranoia is
Right,
justified.
thanks.
If they're lighting your shit on fire and melting your stuff and messing with your stuff and going through your camper, that's not a. You're
Taking my
justified
trash
in
out of
being
the
paranoid
dumpster.
of that stuff happening again.
Right.
And that's the thing I'm dealing with is that not only do I have to be paranoid of those things happening, but they do keep happening.
Oh yeah, right. Well, then you also have the cops that harass you.
Absolutely. And from what my um, therapist has been saying, her name's Marcia, by the way. I was trying to
Yeah.
remember that last time we talked. But what she's been telling me is that there's another lady in town who's going through the same thing, and also that this lady knows about my situation.
Mm.
And although Marcia Estrada is not allowed to give out that personal information on who
Right.
this woman is, she was able to give me the information and I do have it recorded. Matter of fact, and I had a pen handy, but I don't now. When we get off the phone, could you text me an email address I could send this stuff to? If anything happens to me, I want somebody to at least have access to the truth and to show it.
Oh, 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 you mean mine? Oh,
Yeah, I don't have a pen handy, but you can text it to me. Or here, do
okay.
you have a pen handy?
No, I don't.
All right,
It's kind of sitting in the dark.
all
I'm
right,
doing it on purpose for a reason.
all right.
Because they can see certain things through my windows for some reason somehow, and so I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah, the reason for that, it's kind of like if you put a sheet up and then
Mhm.
you put a candle there and then you stand in between the candle and the sheet, people
Mhm.
can see your outline.
Yeah, I know,
And it's
and
the
that's why
same,
I'm doing what I'm doing a certain way. Yep,
yeah.
exactly. Yep,
Plus, it's more difficult if the lights are off. They don't know if you're there or not. Now,
exactly.
obviously, they're wanting to do these things when you're not there as opposed to when you are there, and that's where your
Or when I'm
camera
awake
issues
or
are.
asleep. Yeah, I know. I've been dealing with this specific thing for almost 4 or 5 months now. So, and with certain lights in the trees and what I've been witnessing on the videos, I think I've got certain things figured out. And I would, oh my God, Sean, if I could figure out where these lights are in the trees,
Yeah,
they're almost like the security cameras that I have right now.
and that's
They go
weird.
off with certain motion sensing, and some of the other lights I can't figure out what they are,
Yeah, that's
and they're
one of the
not
problems
street
with security
lights, and I
cameras.
don't know what they.
Are
Huh?
your cameras black and white?
Yes.
All right, that does make it a little bit different with the distortion and whatnot, to be able to tell what a particular light is on it. So that does make sense.
Yes, but the one where I have mine and where these other ones are, I don't know what they are and where they're at. But they're in the trees, Sean. But where they're located.
Well, as
One of
crazy
them
as
I
that
think
sounds,
is,
and I
huh?
am going to tell you that that sounds crazy only because I'm not looking at the videos. So
Right.
next time I meet with you, I'll sit down and look at those with you because, yeah, honestly,
Well,
it
I
does
know, I
sound
know, I
crazy,
know it sounds crazy,
but
but
I
from
also
how
know
I've been,
that a lot of the stuff that I say that sounds crazy, when people look at the evidence, they're like, oh, makes perfect sense now.
yeah, because
So,
of how I've been lining certain things up after I've been watching them a couple gazillion times now.
well, is it like flashlights or
Mm,
you just can't tell?
oh no, one of them goes on and off with certain motion. Um, they're like motion sensor type things.
Oh,
Um, and the where they're located, they're too high up to be on a house. And oh, I mean, I would have to show you.
yes, ma'am. Like you could see the light through the trees, so it might be in the trees, it might be in something on the other side of the trees, but it's a
Yeah,
light. Yeah.
but from what I can see on a certain video, it's not on anything. Like it's not like it. How would I describe it? It's like it's in the tree itself, if that makes any sense. Because of where I'm seeing it on another video, there's nothing for it to be on but a tree. Because what's behind it is nothing but sky. If that makes any sense.
Um, I'm sure it'll make more sense when I look at the video.
Okay.
This wouldn't be the first time that you've told me something that sounds crazy, and then I look at it and go, "Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It sounded crazy, but you're right."
Yeah, there's two, like, there's two of them that are right next to each other. And then there's another one that I'm pretty sure is just a straight light.
All right. I'll look at the
So,
cameras. There's a possibility that it's, and I probably shouldn't be making, suggestions or speculating on what it could be, but I know that a lot of those security cameras, some of them pick up the security camera light that's on them. Also, some of them you get a glare from the proper angle from the side, and when it goes through the refractive lens, it basically just it puts a dot out there. And that
Yeah,
is
well,
really common with a lot of black and white cameras. Like I've had people show me distortions and tell me that it looks like the devil, or it looks like Jesus, or it looks like a demon
right,
walking
right.
through an alley and stuff
Well,
like that. So
yeah, I had talked to the neighbor and asked her about her her shed next next door, and talked to her, and she said she has no security cameras anywhere in her entire yard. So from where that other camera is located, it is not on her shed. So it's got to be something there.
yes, ma'am. Well, I'll take
So
a look at it. I did have um, just a little bit of experience with filtering out distortion. I'm not real good at it. I had to go to a guy
right,
named Josh Hughes for anything of that nature, and at the time, it's not like I had security cameras. I was having issues with glare on my computer, so
right.
he helped
Well,
me
that's
to.
why it's probably just computer and camera and a mixture of different things all at once. But from going through um, multiple different kinds of pictures of different days and different stuff, there's a variety of things that I need to get some kind of computer, some kind of video processing type filtering thing, because of some of the things I'm seeing. I need to filter through to find out what it is specifically I'm looking at.
That's why I wish I was friends with Josh Hughes. He could help you with that. With I think it's BIOS filters. I'm probably wrong. Don't quote me on that. Like I
Right,
said, I know what they tell me, but I don't have the experience in it. I just know what I'm
right,
told.
right.
Um,
Well,
Josh would be
because
able to help you set up the cameras so that there's none of that going on. But if my car will start tomorrow, it probably won't start first thing in the morning. It'll probably
oh
be
god,
in the
yeah, no, I'll
afternoon.
probably be sleeping for a while first thing in the morning.
I figure.
Um,
I usually start sleeping around 10 in the morning or 11, but I'm going to try to stay
yeah,
up so that I can take care of that. I'm going to, because of my vehicle not wanting to start when it's so cold, I got to
yeah,
do my um, appointments tomorrow, or actually, I guess it's today. I got to do my appointments
right,
via Zoom. Do you know
right.
what that is?
Yes, I do. I've done quite a few of my, excuse me, quite a few of my North Platte ones through Zoom, so I do know. Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm gonna try to see if my car will get started after the meeting because by then, because one of them is uh, I want to say they're at 8 and 9 or 9 and 10 is when my appointments are. But either
Okay.
way, by tomorrow afternoon, or by
Yeah.
this afternoon, I guess my car should be warm. It should be warm enough out that my car will start.
Yeah.
So if it does, then I'll probably head up your direction tomorrow or today. But
Yeah. Whatever.
were
I
you
got
able
you.
to
I know what you mean.
were you able to get a heater?
Actually, no. I figured out what the problem was. Um, first, I cleaned out the heater, and it was still kind of being fin- finicky.
Yeah.
And then I ended up finding out it was the extension cord that it was plugged into. It was going out.
So
So
we need to get you an extension cord.
no, I have extras. I
Oh,
had
very good.
pulled out of storage a while ago, so I'm actually good right now.
All
So,
right. Oh, when I get there, we'll take a look at it. I'm sorry it's been a few days. I mean, there's been a situation. I'm trying to turn in the Dual County Sheriff's Department. The problem is that
I know,
without
dude,
someone who
I've been
cares.
dealing with the same crap with the cops here. Well, if we don't catch them in the act, we can't do anything. I, I, I know that, I know the drill. Been dealing
Yeah.
with it for a while.
Well, even
Except
if you
for
catch
just
them in the act, it's
your
they're not necessarily going to do anything. I mean, if you're rich, your word of mouth is good enough for them to go harass people.
Yep.
But if you're poor, you could have all the evidence in the world.
Yep. Yep.
When they call you mentally ill, it definitely makes it even worse, too. You haven't
Yep.
been stuck with that, have you?
Just chronic migraines is all I'm dealing with.
Well, that means that you still have a voice. You still have the right to be heard.
Yep.
What I want to do, if you're willing, I'd like for you to take a look at some of the evidence and actually speak up and verify that it exists.
I could try and do my best.
Well, if you see it, then
Mhm.
you can tell what you've seen, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's all I'm
I, I,
asking
I,
for.
yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to listen, but if they don't listen, that just increases the number of crimes that they're committing because I am an at risk adult. There is nobody who is going to deny that. You can't deny that. Mom can't deny that. Scott, well, you wouldn't deny that. But,
Yeah.
that's the thing is that I am an at risk adult, and people do take advantage of me often, and they get away with it by calling me mentally ill. Now, they're
Mhm.
trying to loosely associate the mentally ill thing with schizophrenia, which we've already discussed. But,
Yeah.
my therapist, she's qualified to diagnose schizophrenia, and the recordings that I want to send you through email, those recordings are with Marcia, and they show that yeah, she admits, yeah, I'm not schizophrenic. She also says that I'm not bipolar. She says that these are trauma responses that I'm having, and that it does make sense that I'm going through it. But if I send you those things, then you can speak up about it. One of the
Okay.
problems with them is that they do work closely with the police
Mhm.
in some things, and as a result, they don't want to rock the boat. They keep telling me that they can't do things that they actually can, and in some cases are supposed to. I think a lot of that is that at first they were just trying to feel it out. The lady who's supposed to be my caseworker, she kind of was very standoffish with me from the very beginning.
Mhm.
And um, by the second meeting, she had toned down a little bit. By the third meeting, she was starting to realize that I'm not just some kook walking in there. I think a lot of that has to do with Marcia actually looking at some of the evidence, looking at some of the things that I'm having to deal with and why, and like it makes perfect sense to her. And that's the
Mhm.
difference between, like, for example, when I was having to talk to the doctors while I was in prison, I was telling
Yeah.
them the same things I was telling Marcia Estrada, but the difference was that Marcia, I had the evidence, I could show it to her right then and there. It sounds
Mhm.
crazy. And, admittedly, it sounds crazy. But as soon as she saw the evidence, she's like, yeah, I get you. And that's the same thing with my autism advocate. There was a lot of stuff that she totally got from the beginning, but there's some stuff that she didn't get because, she's never been through it.
Yeah.
And as soon as she saw the evidence, she realized that I'm telling the truth. That everything that I'm telling her is, yeah, these things are actually happening. And
Maybe
you
I
know,
should start going to a therapist, seeing if they can help me with what I'm dealing with.
they might be able to. I mean, here's the thing. Like Penny, I I'm still scared of Penny. I don't know, what she's necessarily. How do I explain that? I'm I'm scared from experiences from others, and that doesn't make it her fault. Some of
Right.
the things that she said at the beginning were kind of scary, but she has actually shown me since then that she actually is willing to work with me. We've
Mhm.
been trying to get housing since we first started, and that was like three or 4 months ago. I want to say I could be wrong about that. A couple of months ago. Um, but I've been going to my meetings. There's a few of them that we haven't been able to have. Like, the whole Christmas holiday makes it so that they have a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff to
Right.
do, and they have personal lives and they have stuff to do with that as well.
Right.
Um, so, we weren't able to have all of the meetings that we were
Yeah.
supposed to.
Yeah.
But uh, I'm gonna, if it's all right with you, I could ask them tomorrow if I could give them your number. I mean, I am certain that Marcia is
Oh,
really smart. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that she's quite astute. She's
who?
aware. Marcia, she's
Oh,
my therapist.
and where's she at?
Sydney.
In city? Okay.
Yep. She shows up once a week, every Monday, and if you had appointments with them, I might even be able to visit with you a little bit more and get some hugs.
That'd be cool.
There's a and you have this in your system because of your daughter, but there's a chemical your body produces when you get hugs. It's called oxytocin,
Yeah.
and it helps you to feel better. It helps to make you less depressed and things like that. So, for me, not getting hugs, I'm lacking that, and it's not good for me physically or mentally. Obviously, we all need hugs.
Yeah.
Um, I don't I don't know how to help you beyond working together with you and looking at your evidence and advocating and speaking for you the best that I can.
Okay.
Um, but because I've been called mentally ill and they keep trying to pretend that I'm schizophrenic, um, I need you just as much. And I don't
Right.
know if you're able to or willing to, but
Or just having somebody else look at these videos and just someone else looking at it and me showing it and saying this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm finding. Are these actually what I'm seeing, or is this just
you're trying to
this is
find out if there's a connection between
what
those
I'm seeing
lights
and
and the
what's happening?
vandalism. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to look at that when I get there.
Mhm.
If it's a distortion thing or something from the light, I've seen quite a bit of that, so I'll be able to tell you pretty much
That's why I'm saying
immediately.
I need somebody who can kind of decipher that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And that's why I wanted to see if there was some kind of.
I can tell if it's distortion, but I can't tell you how to fix it. That's a lot of the issue there.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying either. I'm
Like when you see
saying
a painting, you can see that the color, of the painting, there's a bunch of blue in it, but at the same time, like if you wanted to paint the painting, if you're not an artist, it's not going to come out, you know?
right.
So yeah, it's
Well, I also want to look into. I guess I could look it up, try and find some kind of program or something that can help me filter it out without having to have somebody all the time. Is what I
yeah,
want to do too.
yeah, that's security cameras, they're a lot of them are like that. I mean,
Yeah.
for what you get, like the cameras that I have, some of them are actually a lot cheaper than the cameras that you have,
Mhm.
but they're also a lot more high quality and they're also
Yeah.
in color. But
Mhm.
then again, your cameras are meant for going outside, whereas like the cameras that are attached to my computer and the external cameras to my
Mhm.
computer, I was told that if they freeze, they won't work again.
Yeah. Um.
Ooh.
The I'm what I've had quite a few issues with the kangaroos, so I haven't been using them much. Um. So I am gonna try and put them back outside again.
Those
Um.
kangaroos are pretty cool. I mean, they look cool, kind of like uh, you remember that movie Wally?
Yeah.
Those cameras kind of remind me of the female robot Eva.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of look like that.
Yeah.
Those are cool
So.
looking. But what I have a knockoff GoPro, and I'm actually looking for it. I packed up everything because I was gonna take all the evidence to a friend's like 5 hours. I'll be right back. I'm just going into another room. It's called Vivitar DVR 757 HD.
Oh.
And it's not the best. It's a Wally World special, and they're not too incredibly expensive. I got this one with a lady named Stephanie Mejia in, God, where were we? Scottsbluff at the Walmart there.
Mm.
Stephanie is actually a pretty cool lady, but she did some pretty screwed up stuff. I spent a lot of money because she was going to come help me, and then when she got there, she was too busy chasing after the other friend who was supposed to be helping me. She was too busy on his nuts, so it wasted all of my money. And like I'm tired of people taking advantage of me like that. You know, like they promised to help me, and after I've invested everything, I basically paid for a vacation for her to go cheat on her husband. Is what I did.
Oh.
Right?
All right.
I also got there's a phone that I have, the one that I had when Robert Warnick assaulted me,
Mm.
and I still haven't found a place that'll fix it. Like when I went up to North Platte, I didn't have very much time up there. I really wanted to get to my friend's house and get a hug from her and, discuss her what's going on before it got dark. I didn't want to have to stay there after dark. I didn't want to get her in trouble because she's in specific type of housing, and I guess she can have a visitor for up to 7 days without having to tell the front office, which is cool.
Yeah.
And although it'll take about 3 months worth of going through all this evidence, I think that we can get a bit done.
Yeah.
In a few days. So we're gonna try that, I guess. She only has like a 2 week window. So, and one of those weeks is up. So I got to get there as soon as possible.
All right.
But the other thing is, I got to make sure. Well, obviously you're not gonna freeze now. You got your heater.
Yeah, I did get it going.
But
it really did needed cleaned out. So I figured I'd sprayed it out a few times with some air, pressurized air, and I took it apart and it needed cleaned out, and that seemed to help. And it was really the extension cord. It was going out. It was looking a little burnt. So I was like, oh well. Then once I changed that, then it really helped, and I haven't had a problem with it since.
I was talking to Amanda about your situation, and you can be mad at me for talking to her about it, but I was just trying to inform her of the situation that you're living in, because I was trying to explain how it's not just me that needs help. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And oh, by the way, Tara's about to graduate high school.
Oh yeah, I keep in touch with her every now and then.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm friends with her on Facebook, but we kind of talk every once in a while.
Well, I don't know if that period of time where you were pretty much hateful at the world had anything to do with that or not. You know,
Yeah.
I know that when I was like that, a lot of people just scattered to the four winds, and some of them I was pretty mean to, but most of them really had it coming, and I was a lot nicer to them than I should have been. And
Mm.
some of them I was mean to that I probably shouldn't have been. It's just, they weren't willing to tell the truth because they wanted to be friends with my predators. And they
Yeah.
knew that these predators were doing these things to me. They were aware of it, they admitted it,
Mm.
but they didn't want to strain their friendships. Like, these people are committing crimes against me, and you're aware that they're committing crimes against a disabled person. And
Mhm.
these are people that I care about. I don't want them getting in trouble, but at
Oh
the same time, they're committing felonies,
yeah.
because I am disabled. They are aware of it. They didn't come forward, and a lot of them, I recorded it,
Mhm.
them admitting it, so it's not like they can deny it now.
Yeah.
There's evidence of the felonies that they committed.
Yep.
And of course, they want that removed. They're like, oh, dude, you need to remove that. We're going to complain about it. We're going to sue you. I'm like, Fuck, dude, you admitted to felonies, so now you want to sue me because you admitted to felonies? Oh my god. You're about as bright as a box of rocks in the shade with the lid closed. I don't know though. Like I really didn't want to bug you this early in the morning. I
I'm
sent you that
always up.
message. I figured, right. See, I
Yeah.
get that. I
If
should
I
have
don't answer,
registered
then
that.
I am asleep. But usually I'm up.
And that's what I was assuming. Like when you messaged me back, I was like, all right, I'm gonna ask her if she'll call. And thank
Yep.
you for calling, by the way.
Yep.
Um, a lot of this stuff, I'm trying to make sure that it's documented. I'm trying to make sure that I document the things that are happening to you and the things that you're telling me. And I'm, trying to,
Oh, I'm documenting everything too.
you know,
Trying to. Like, there's times where I felt like I was like, did I forget something? Did I lose this? Did I? Because there's times that it's been like, wait a minute, this was supposed to be in storage. How did it get here?
you get overwhelmed with fear and then you forget
Yeah,
stuff or things of that nature.
yeah. And
Yep,
it's
or
like,
you,
I
you,
just
you
cleaned
didn't
this and
forget everything.
organized this. How did this get here? It's like, wait, what?
And sleep deprivation could have a lot to do with that too. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot of stuff that I intended on putting somewhere, and I was certain that I did.
yep,
And then I'm
exactly.
like, well, all right, I must have screwed up. I've been, you know, I.
That's why I'm like, okay, wait, did I do this? Maybe I did. I don't know anymore. That's why I'm just like, I'm trying to keep track of everything now because I'm like, I'm so tired nowadays that I'm just like, I could have sworn I didn't. This, how did, this was gone for like 3 days and then it shows up here. What the fuck, dude? Like, I know this was missing.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing is that if you didn't have the cameras on at that point in time, it just sounds crazy. But when you have the cameras, all that craziness pretty well goes away. You can actually prove it at the point that you have the cameras. Now, trying to make the connection between what's going on with them lights and the vandalism, like there's a really good chance that they're not related, but it is worth checking into.
Well,
Don't
that's what I'm
leave any
saying.
stone unturned.
Yeah.
I kind of
But
figured.
the biggest thing that I'm having is that with the Wi-Fi being so low that it's causing the videos to be kind of glitchy. So that doesn't help.
Right? And I got the Wi-Fi hotspot thing on my phone,
Hmm.
but I recently discovered that the Wi-Fi hotspots in this area are just complete crap.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to figure out. There's a pattern enhancer, not like the one
Hmm.
on Star Trek. This one's just. It looks
Yeah, I
like a.
know.
All right,
Right.
you've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that if I had my own Wi-Fi just specifically for these cameras, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 or 7 people phone-wise and such trying to go off this Wi-Fi, plus 2 computers. Then we have Chromebooks. We have like a whole crap load of people in this household trying to go off this Wi-Fi all at once. Then we have these cameras. We have so many people trying to go off this Wi-Fi. It's overloading the Wi-Fi.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is why I'm saying I need to try and get my own Wi-Fi, own internet Wi-Fi type thing just specifically for these cameras, so that it's just on these cameras, so
Yes,
that
ma'am.
it's not bogging down. So it's not bogged down.
I have that issue on my YouTube channel. The guy I'm living with, he is a video gamer.
Yeah,
So if I try making a live feed while he's playing video games, it
right.
ends up
That's what
horrible.
I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying is when you've got like 5 or 6 people have their phones on the Wi-Fi, plus when they got school stuff doing. You got their Chromebooks on the Wi-Fi. You got so many different people all on the Wi-Fi at the same time.
And
And
Dora
the
the
cameras,
Explorer.
it's so much. Yeah. So that's why it's causing the cameras to be so glitchy.
I've drinking enough coffee. I'm starting to get tired. I think that's a good thing. Does
I drink
coffee
so
put
much
you to sleep?
coffee, I don't know what's what anymore.
Does coffee put you to sleep?
No. You know, it doesn't matter. I can go to sleep whether I drink coffee or not.
If
I
I
don't think it matters anymore.
if I drink coffee slowly, it doesn't work. But if I drink it fast, like if I drink 2 cups of coffee real super fast, I'll be asleep within half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah. It doesn't matter with me anymore. I mean, I can drink a cup of coffee and go to bed, and I'll still go to sleep. I mean, there have been times where I drink coffee and it'll keep me awake, but I mean, it varies.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I mean, if I drink an espresso, oh yeah, I ain't going to bed. Definitely don't drink an espresso before I go to bed. That ain't gonna
I don't drink espresso because you can't wake me up.
work. That'll definitely knock you out.
Yep. Well, since my therapist, she's reluctant to talk to law enforcement. Um, I want to give you access to all of our meetings, and like I said, I do record them. But I don't want to post them all over the internet. It's got conversations with me and my autism advocate in it. It's got some her personal stuff in it. So I mean, it's stuff that I don't want to put on the internet.
Right.
And if I absolutely have to, I will. But at this point, I've been trying to do it the right way. And when the right way doesn't work, that's when I do things that are desperate, like posting it
Mm.
up. And like a lot of the stuff, like when the cops came and harassed me the other day, like there's stuff that I had to post up that was supposed to be private. It needed to be private, and I didn't want to post it on the internet. But because the cops were in the video smacking on the door, right after I was trying to get a hold of the um, Nebraska Attorney General's office, the I was trying to turn them into the Nebraska Attorney General's office, and I was also trying to turn in the Nebraska Attorney General's office to the Nebraska Attorney General's office. I need you to take a look at all of these places, these professional places that are supposed to help us. I mean, my autism advocate, you'll get to listen to some of this stuff with her that's recorded as well. It's not on the internet, and with a lot of that, you know, and I don't know if you and Amanda are even getting along well enough to do that, or if you were able to get along well enough to do it. But if you guys could help to coordinate with me, because she's really aware and quite astute about the rights thing and disability rights, and also a lot of the stuff to do with autism. And she's been aware for a long time that I'm autistic. A lot of people were, like just mostly the people that didn't care were my relatives, kind of like they didn't care about Tourette's syndrome.
Oh,
Y'all knew I had it, but of course, the only time that the Tourette's syndrome really became a problem was when Eric wanted to go, just to get me started doing it.
right.
God, he's such a fucking dick. I miss him.
Yeah, listen too.
I wish he'd get off the drugs. I can't even say that. I haven't talked to him in years. He might be off the drugs.
You really think so?
No, no, I don't.
If he was, he'd talk more than a high
Yeah,
than what he get what I get on Facebook. That's if I even get that.
yeah.
You
He
know.
he got a hold of me a few years ago. Like I'd been trying to get a hold of him and get a hold of him and get a hold of him, and he'd just been ignoring me and ignoring me and ignoring me. And then finally on my birthday, he got a hold. I had to flee the state of Colorado for my own safety. Eric literally ignored me the whole time, and then he wants to get a hold of me on my birthday to say he's got teeth for me. I was like, dude, please talk to me. Please. I begged him to talk to me. Begged him to call me. Please call me. And I got all these junky friends of his that I've talked to trying to get help. And they're all like, oh, well, he loves you. He just doesn't know what to say. Well, shit, he could stop being a bitch and fucking talk to me. Stop fucking cowering and pretend I'm a human being, you know? Pretend that I am his brother.
He can't do that. He doesn't know how. Not anymore. Like, I don't even think he even knows what's what anymore, Sean.
I don't think so either. I mean, he's done a lot of meth.
I noticed that back when, what, Grandma's funeral?
Yeah.
Half the time?
Mom was pretty fucked up for Grandma's funeral too. Like after you guys all left, I got to help finish burying Grandma. Me and Graham stuck around. He slept in the truck while I, because they didn't have enough time to completely bury her because they had the, well, you got to hear them saying that they had to take the machines back. They were rented. You know, that was the reason we all left. They had to keep on burying her, but you know, I mean, they didn't finish.
I know, right? I'm just.
I was there for like an hour and a half after they left, making sure that Grandma was buried properly and the sod was on top of her grave properly. But Graham ended up being a real piece of work. You know, I really, with all of his Jesus stuff and all of his in Jesus' name and all that and the other, you know, I wanted to believe, you know, I really did. But then, you know, I don't hate him. I don't hate him.
I mean, I would have stayed longer if I didn't have everybody at my house.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like when we all went to Bergie's to eat, and you were working there. Like, you know, I paid for my meal and I paid for Graham's meal. You know, I mean, I wasn't gonna expect everybody else to pay it.
Uh,
Jason, I don't know. He seems like he's got some real. He seems
yeah,
like he
he's
got
doing
hit in the
pretty
head a
good.
lot. He's
Last I
doing
heard.
better.
But then
Absolutely.
again, I haven't heard from anybody else since everything.
Yeah. Well, I Uncle Matt and Uncle James are not going to be happy with me. I mean, Aunt Marcy told me about what they did to her growing up, and I haven't had any respect for either one of them since. You know.
Everybody's kind of dissed on Aunt Marcy. I'm like she was the outlaw man, kind of like
Aunt
I don't
Marcy is the coolest person in our family. All right.
know. Yeah,
When she told Grandma that Uncle James and Uncle Matt were molesting her, like Grandma didn't care. Grandma blew her off, and Grandma treated her like she was crazy, and that's a horrible thing for a woman to go through. And she tried telling Mom, and Mom did the same thing.
just it's. I think that's why Aunt Marcy left. It just I think Aunt Marcy would have stuck around, but it just everybody kept dissing her and pushing her away, and she just had enough and left.
She did. I saw her homeless in Boulder.
I believe it.
I was actually going to tell you about that, but we weren't on speaking terms at the time. I mean, not that we weren't uh, literally weren't speaking. It's just that there was a lot going on, and you were busy with the married life and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one of the biggest issues that I got, like Michael is always going to hate me. Michael He always wants to say, "You raped Tara, you raped Tara." I'm like, Michael, stop right fucking there. Go ask her. Go ask her. Don't accuse me of things I didn't do and pretend like I'm some sort of a monster. Go ask
Yep.
her.
Yep.
And it's like it's completely beyond his comprehension that it takes him, what, 30 seconds to dial you up and ask?
Right.
And that issue started well before any of that. When I left the house, Michael was mad at me because who knows what. He always takes mom's side. He's a
Yeah.
mama's boy. That's just the fact of the matter.
Oh, yeah, he's always been a mama's boy.
He's the golden. Well, Eric's the golden child. Michael is the pampered priss.
Yes.
Michael can do no wrong. And you know what? I'm not the only one that made that observation. Amanda noticed that too a long time ago.
Yeah. We've kind of been stuck in the middle and shit on.
Yes, ma'am. You'd think that since well, I mean, you did get sort of special treatment because you're a girl, but it wasn't because you were a girl. It's because you were the only one without a dad.
Yeah.
And
And, but
Scott,
yet I was still shit on.
absolutely, and thank God for Scott because of that. Because I mean, and I'm not saying that Scott was always good to, always perfect to you or anything like that. I'm
No.
not trying to insinuate that, but because of Scott, when we all went into the system, I was 6 and Eric was 7, and like we all went into the system, but you got to spend less time than all of us in the system, because Scott took you, and Michael got to spend a lot less time in the system than me and Eric because he had a real dad who eventually took him, you know.
Yeah.
And Eric got to spend less time in the system because Dad was able to get custody, but he was only allowed to have custody of one of us, and they told him, "We'll see how you do with Eric, and if things go well with Eric, then we'll allow you to fight for custody of Sean." And at that point in
Yeah.
time, I was in, I want to say, Mount St. Vincent's home, and
Yeah.
that was a horrible place. I mean, I was none of the staff members there actually like molested me, but one of them watched one of the other kids there rape me, and another time, when I tried to tell on what was going on, there was a priest there, or a preacher, whatever it was. Mount St. Vincent's, it looks like a church, but it's basically a mental hatch attached to a church.
Yeah.
And I think it used to be an old parish church at one time, but I'm not for certain. But the thing is that, like, that dude just watched while the other boys beat me up. And, that stuff happened a lot in there. It happens a lot in the system, and a lot of people have not only spoken out about it, but they have exposed it and shown it, kind of like the over drugging and things of that nature.
Oh. Yeah.
Of course, then you can't give kids medications like that when they've got a parent who's an addict, because then you end
Mhm.
up with Mom and Mickey Spencer snorting Michael's Ritalin. You probably don't remember that either.
I remember Michael's Ritalin constantly disappearing, but I don't remember much more than that.
Yeah, well, I didn't find out about Mickey Spencer and her and Mom doing the snorting the Ritalin until Mom told me.
Yeah.
I remember her making a couple of phone calls to the doctor saying that she needed more Ritalin for Michael because it all disappeared, and she was in tears
I
crying.
remember calling and saying it got knocked off off the sink, and that she needed more Ritalin. Yeah, I remember saying something about that. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna. I'm pretty sure I have Mom's number in one of my old phones, and I do. I don't think it'll do any good, but I do want to call her up and give her the chance to be a mother for once.
Yeah, I doubt that's gonna happen, but good luck with that. But yeah, at one point I did have her number back when I had my other phone and it had reset, and I had lost all numbers, and so that's why when you had called me and I had gotten that your number, so I'm getting other people's numbers back gradually. So like I will have to check with Michael and see if the number I do have is still the right number, because I haven't talked to her in like almost a year now. So I don't even know if I have the right number, because this number that I do have, I don't even know if it's the right number. Because it
Right.
came out of one of my other phones, because I was hoping maybe it was the right number, but like I said, I have no idea.
I've got a
So,
a video. You remember I was telling you about how someone was getting a hold of me and they were speaking to me in creepy voices and how I actually had it recorded?
oh, um, possibly.
All right. That might have been another lady. On my YouTube channel, there's a few other people who are going through similar things, and I allow
Mm,
them to speak their voice and speak their truths. And
mm,
I might have gotten one of them confused with you. There's also a few missing peoples. I've been involved in trying to help missing and murdered indigenous people since I was in Hardin, Montana.
mm.
God, Tara, if I had my way, I would grab you and Destiny and we would be in Montana.
If I had it my way, I would have disappeared a long time ago.
Yeah, I take it you probably haven't talked to Rebecca in a while.
I know. I don't even think I have her number anymore. It's been that long.
You know, when she was there, I was so glad that she was a part of your life. You know,
Yeah,
that lady did you a lot of good.
yeah, she did. I think the last time I talked to her, I think, was before Destiny was born.
You know, the other Rebecca, Rebecca Black, sorry to
Yeah.
change the topic. When I was getting those people that were calling me up and harassing me, I do have it recorded and on my YouTube. And they kept on calling me up and you could almost understand like one out of every three words.
Yeah.
But it sounded like Rebecca Black, and I ditched her like a bad habit out of that. And I actually feel bad because I don't know that it was her. It was just a
It
be on the
sounded.
safe side
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I, I don't
Yeah.
think that she would do that. I mean, her and I never had an issue before.
Yeah.
And I do feel bad if I falsely accuse somebody of something. But also,
Yeah.
like, people calling me up like that is creepy, and it's creepy for the cops not to care. And the fact that I
Yeah.
have to put it live on YouTube
Yep.
publicly for everyone to see in order to show that I'm telling the truth, that
Yep.
nobody should have to do that.
Yep.
But it does exist, and you know, tomorrow I'd like to show you some of it, but I think we'll probably focus on your stuff, you know, when I'm there in person. And if you
Yeah.
could arrange a few times to, you know, make phone calls, we'll have a teleconference basically together.
Oh yeah.
And then that way, anything that I send you, you can review it on your computer where you're at, and we can also, you know,
Oh
talk
yeah.
about it. You can listen to it,
Yeah.
you can see it.
As long as my internet's going good, I should be all right.
Well, we're going to
It's
try to
like
take
I
care
said.
of that tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a good chance the cops are going to try to trump up charges again because they know I'm still trying to turn them in for the crimes they committed. But there's also, like, if you look at the evidence, you can speak out. You can say, hey, this is not right, and you can advocate as family. And I will absolutely advocate as family for you 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, you're my sister no matter what. You know, Eric's
Yeah.
my brother no matter what. Michael's my brother no matter what.
Yeah.
I love all of you.
I love you too, bro.
Well, you about ready for bed?
Nope, because there's still noises going on outside.
Yep. Paranoia turn you into an insomniac.
Yep.
That's something a lot of people they don't pay attention to. Like when you're woken up a few times to somebody beating the shit out of you, it's hard to go to
Oh yeah.
sleep. And also,
Yep.
every sound you're hoping is not somebody coming to beat the shit out of you.
Yep.
And then they say that you're just being paranoid, but you've experienced it. It's not just paranoia at that point. It's
Yeah.
been
After
reality.
someone melting a tarp into your bedroom window multiple times a night. Yeah. Someone messing with your van multiple times every night. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I'm paranoid. Sure.
that's another thing. Is like it like I said, it sounds crazy till you see it. But when I got there, I saw it. It's not like you didn't show it to me. It just the way that you worded it and the fact that when you were telling me about it, you were pretty excited. But when I saw it,
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, these things are actually happening. This is vandalism. It does exist, and
Yep.
I'll probably take pictures of it when I'm there if that's okay.
Oh, what? Of what?
Of everything that you tell me to.
Oh, okay.
Everything that you point out to me, I'll take a picture of so that it's at least saved for posterity. We'll put it in a file. You'll have a copy of it. I'll have a copy of it, and you can send a copy to whoever you want. You can
Oh,
send it to the
everything's
Sydney
already
PD.
in a file on my computer.
Well, you're already on top of it.
Oh, yeah. I've
Hell
been
yes.
on top of it ever since I started recognizing everything.
Well,
I
and I
took the tarp off the camper because it was starting to melt to the camper, and I wasn't going to have that anymore.
right.
Yep.
I get that. Well, when I'll send you my email address, and you can send me yours. And I'll send you some of my information, and you send me some of yours. If anything happens to you, I want to have that. I want to
Yeah,
have access to it.
I'll send you my email
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
specific one that these fuckheads don't have.
Yes, ma'am. It's screwed up that they're messing with you.
Yep.
And I don't think that these are the same nut jobs that I have to deal with, just based on when it started and what they're doing and the fact that
Mhm.
they're not coming around here doing that to me, and they very easily could.
Mhm.
I mean,
Exactly. Yep.
I was kind of paranoid that it might be somebody like Chris Kurth or somebody like that. But then again, I think they're more focused on me. And I was able to get Chris Kurth to leave me alone by talking to Cody and letting him know what was going on. He said he'd put a stop to it, and sure enough, he did. That was after almost 3 or 4 years of trying to get the cops to do something. And I didn't really want to bring it to Cody. I mean, he's always been cool to me, but that
Yeah.
is family, and I didn't know how he would react.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was badass. When I talked to him, he treated me like a person, and he didn't treat me like I was a bad person for telling him what's up.
Yeah.
Cody Kurth is pretty cool in my book, anyway. But then there's Robert Warnick. Like you remember Nikki, Rihanna and Nikki,
Vaguely, but yeah.
Nikki McIntosh, Doug Cowden's daughters. But
Right. Right. Yeah.
uh, Nikki actually had a kid with the registered sex offender that assaulted me. And also, his name is Robert Warnick. He lives like 2 houses down from Mom's old house.
Who?
His name is Robert Warnick.
Oh.
You
Okay.
remember Chuck Warnick, the guy that shot Taco?
Kinda.
Yeah, that's his cousin.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That's probably off topic, huh? But I'm having to deal with a lot of people who are trying to hide the horrible things that their families did. And I'm glad that at least with Cody, instead of trying to cover up those crimes and trying to keep his brother from getting in trouble for the things that he did, I'm glad that he made an effort to put a stop to it. Whereas a lot of people, when I told on the horrible things that their families did, they all turned on me and pretended like I was a monster for being honest.
Nobody knows how to accept the honest truth anymore.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are more interested in money or sex than actually telling the truth. Or drugs.
Right.
A lot of the people that I had to go to for help, it's like I did go to you and Mom for help. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like I didn't try going to family. It's just, like with you, you had stuff with your surgery and,
I was on drugs. I couldn't help you.
right?
What was I on? I was on oxycodone. I think
Yep.
that's what I was on. I couldn't help you.
Now, that wasn't the time that they had to cut into your bone and then break it, right?
No, that was a different time.
Yeah.
That was on my knee, not my ankle.
Yep. Yeah, you've had quite a.
At that time, I was on morphine, and I was highly allergic to morphine. Oh
I'm
my
sure
god,
that
I
turned out
wanted to
well.
rip my skin off to the point they had to sedate me just to wait for the morphine to get out of my system. They literally, I'm coming out of surgery and I'm coming out of anesthesia, and they had to resedate me because I was on morphine. And they had to resedate me to wait for the morphine to get out of my system because I was literally trying to rip my skin off because I was allergic to it.
That reminds me of a story that I heard. This guy was talking about how he was, I want to say he was from Africa, but he had died and they brought him back, and he
Mhm.
had said that while he was dead that he got to visit hell, and that he saw uh, in hell people rip their skin off and it grows right back. When you were telling me that story, that's what it reminded
Oh,
me of.
oh, yeah. I literally had scratched myself raw on my face because of how bad I was scratching myself
Yeah,
because I was having such a bad reaction to the morphine.
yeah.
So
They
I
Go ahead.
have come across almost every painkiller they can ever give me so far. They haven't come across any new ones. That I'm allergic to every major painkiller out there except for prescription ibuprofen.
You know what? We have the same issue on that. I keep trying to explain to doctors that the medications don't work the same in my system.
Yep.
Like I've already been on your meds. I've already tried. Yes, I've tried that one. Yes, I've tried that one. Yes, I've
Yep.
tried that one.
Nope, can't do that one. Nope,
That
can't
one
do
will
that
make
one
me commit
either.
suicide. That one will make me puke. That one will make it so that I can't move. And of course, if
Yep.
they look into these medications, they see that the side effects are obviously, the side effects that I have are severe side effects that are known of those medications.
Yep.
I got a couple of doctors that actually listen pretty good to me about that. And I've also got, like, when I was in prison, those doctors, they're like, you don't need meds. You don't need drugs. You're not schizophrenic. You might be bipolar. We don't know yet. You're definitely not schizophrenic, though. I was like, yep. Well, it's
Yeah,
too bad that.
my migraine doctor's pretty cool. I think he's from India.
Yeah,
But yeah, his last name's Kumar.
that's
I
a
don't
cool
remember.
ass name.
Yeah, um, he talks really quiet, and he's known for the man of little words because he very rarely talks. He just talks just simple words, very quick words.
He listens.
Yeah, he listens.
That's a
Yes.
good doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I might, if it's all right with you, I might try to get his information from you too. I mean, I don't have migraines very often. I didn't have any of them until the whole situation with Natalie. But now,
Mm.
you know, from time to time I do get them. They are pretty severe.
Yeah. He's a neurologist. He's a specialist.
Oh my
Um.
God, he's a neurologist?
Mhm.
Oh, right. I haven't seen a neurologist in years. Like the whole Tourette syndrome thing, that was diagnosed by a neurologist, obviously. You know, a lot of the stuff that I was diagnosed with growing up had to be diagnosed by a neurologist. Tourette
Yeah.
syndrome, definitely.
Yeah.
Um,
You gotta be directed to him by your regular doctor.
that's Angie
Like.
Robb, and I just started with her again.
Mm.
Last time she was my doctor was when I was 17, and she took me off the drugs. Her and I think she consulted with Dr. Matthews at the time, but I'm not certain.
Yeah. Dr. Matthews is the one that directed me to him. Well, technically, actually, Ed is the one that got me hooked up with Dr. Kumar.
Yep. I like Ed. I do. The problem with Ed is that, all right, like the difference between Ed and Brandon Jepson, for example.
Okay, I gotta
Brandon
hear this
Jepson
one.
is pretty good looking, you know. He's also really good with uh, words, and Ed's a dork like me, you know.
Okay. Okay.
And that first of all, that's what I like the most about Ed. But also, I know that because of that, he's probably not likely to get hurt any better than I am. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
doesn't have the popularity charisma thing going on for him like you know Josh Martindale or Brandon Jepson or you know somebody like that.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm by no means saying he's a bad person. I do want to make sure that I get that out there. I do like Ed.
Yeah.
And we've always gotten along. Every time he sees me, he comes up and talks to me and asks how I'm doing, and he smiles and says it's good to see me. You know, like just
Yeah.
well, except for last time because I was in a hurry, and he
Yeah.
was in a hurry, and you were in a hurry, and we all just kind of
Yeah.
me to my vehicle, you to where you needed to go, him to the camper. You know.
Yeah. Yep. We were all kind of just like straight. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. And I knew
Yeah.
that, you know, when we were up there and you were in a hurry and wanted to go, I knew that you needed to meet with Ed because he was actually there to help you. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I was pissed off because you were having a social call or anything like that, you know.
Yeah. No. He surprised me. He didn't tell me he was coming.
Yeah.
He ended up just showing up. He ended up just he was ended up being in town. He was just coming through town and ended up just stopping by. I'm like, oh, hi. That's
Yes,
why I was like,
ma'am.
oh, okay.
Oh, I thought he was there to help you.
Oh yeah, he was.
Was that the day that he'd spent the whole day helping people move?
No, that was a different day. But
I
no,
used to do that.
when he showed up when you were there when we were at Walmart, because when we were at Walmart when we were coming back, I was like, oh, we gotta go because Ed's here.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
That asshole who lived in the trailer in Lodgepole, what's his name again?
Uh
The real chubby one with the glasses?
oh, he doesn't live there anymore. But Jesus Christ, that's been so long ago. I don't remember.
Well, Ed was the one that told me he was stalking you. And I guess that dude ended up in prison or something.
Oh, last I knew, he was married. He had gotten married,
Wow.
and yeah, no, like that was like long time ago, and like no idea what happened to him now.
Yeah, I think the story that I had heard is that he was pissed off that you had hooked up with somebody else and he was stalking you and being mean and stuff like that to you. Something like that.
No.
Well, small towns.
Uh, no, he wasn't being mean that I was aware of. And if he was stalking me, first I heard of it.
Well, it might have been another guy, or it might have just been a small town. I mean, you know how rumors are in a town like this.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, nope.
So he might have just been relaying something that he had heard.
It's possible.
I want to say Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. That's
Jimmy.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. No, Jimmy. Yep. No, he wasn't stalking me that I'm aware of. And yeah, he wasn't mean to me. He was helping me out. There was a few times that he came over and gave me gas. And oh, yeah. There was one time he took off on my car and left me stranded in Colorado. That's all right. I got to hang out with the band.
I think that's what it was. Is that he
Yeah,
took
that's
off
the
with your
only
car
time.
because you hooked up with some dude.
Yeah.
So
No,
that
they left me there with. They were apparently. This is what happened. We had all gone together. We had all gone together to this because I was with this girl Pixie.
yeah, I know Pixie. We actually that might have been the one who told me about it too.
Yeah, we had all gone together. And what had happened was, is I told them that I was going to be right back and not to leave without me. And I come back, and everybody's gone. We had gone to an ICP concert in Colorado.
Ikpuh.
Huh?
Ikpuh.
Yeah, and I had come back, and they're gone. And everything was in the car. My purse, my phone, everything was in the car, and they took off with my car. And I hadn't seen them in like 2 to 3 days. And I had no way of getting home. But I got to hang out with the band. I finally got home. They gave me a ride home. The band gave me a ride home. Well, technically, they gave me a ride to Sterling. And the only number I could remember was Aunt Bee's number. So I called Aunt Bee from Sterling and had Aunt Bee come get me.
You know, actually, you're right. Pixie was the one that told me that story.
Yeah.
Casey Smith.
Yep.
Yep. She's the one that told me that story, not Ed. I'm sorry about getting that incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all good.
The story that she had said was that you were hooking up with some dude from the band or some dude that was there or something, and
yeah.
Jimmy got pissed off and drove off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what I was told. I was told that because apparently she was trying to get me to hook up with that guy, and that guy was supposed to give me a ride home. And I told her I didn't want to do it and that I would be right back. I wasn't going to go home with some strange guy. Are you serious?
Well, I wasn't there. Like I said, chapel rumor mill, and you hear what you hear.
Yeah, okay, right. But anyway.
That might actually be one of the conversations that I recorded. So I'll check my YouTube channel and see if I recorded that. I don't know. There was a lot of people that were involved with it, with this situation, and Casey was one of them.
Yeah, she was crazy lady that I had living in my house that shouldn't have been in my house. And, oh man, the things she did in my house.
Yeah, she's the one that got Andrew started on meth. She admitted it too.
I'll believe that.
But I also got, I've got messages, and I do have to show these to you because I have to be afraid of the police. Anytime that I tried to turn in the police, they trump up charges on me. So, you know, there's some stuff from Amy, she had sent me some stuff about how, like, that year that they were supposed to help me. Um, I found out a little bit later she had kicked Andrew out over the meth, and I was in Washington State at the time, and she needed me to come back so that somebody could watch the kids because she had kicked Andrew out, and it was a very complicated situation. Well, lo and behold, Andrew flipped out and was telling her that he'd call CPS and a bunch of other stuff if I went and helped out, and that I'm a psycho and this, that, and the other. And then she admitted that he was uh, molesting their oldest daughter, and she also said that he was on meth and that she knew he was on meth, and she knew about the Casey Smith situation with the meth, and she also admitted that she was doing a lot of cocaine at the time, and that's all stuff that I recorded or that she sent me, and then she wanted to get angry because I was honest about it. Like, hey, if you're gonna tell me that he's molesting your kid, I know that the dude's on meth. I'm not stupid, and he's admitting that he's on meth. I mean, then he's going out and he's telling me that he's going to help me. The deal is that they're going to help me, and one day a week Amy's going to help me, and one day a week Andrew's going to help me. In exchange, I babysit one day a week for each of them. Well,
Mhm.
what it ended up being is that I'm, ending up being a full-time babysitter because Andrew wants to go down to those corner apartments by the courthouse and get all fucked up on meth all day. And if I wasn't able to babysit, I got to see him walking with those girls to the meth house. So I'm like, if I don't, those girls are going to be stuck in the meth house. And who knows what one of those fucked up dudes will do to her.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that you're able to see those because, see, there's no statute of limitations on child molestation, which means that Andrew can still be charged. And the fact that they took advantage of me in the way that they did and then wanted to play like I was the bad guy, like I have the evidence that shows that it's exactly the opposite.
Yep.
And I need people to look at this evidence, and like literally nobody has been willing to. They say stuff like, I believe you, I believe you. Believing me is not the same as seeing it for yourself. Because if you see it for yourself, later on, a lot of these people, when they were mad at me, I had tried to show them the evidence, and they're like, no, dude, I believe you. You're the most honest dude I know, Sean. Like, I believe you. Sean, you don't have to show me I believe you. And then later on, when they were pissed off at me, they're like, well, I never saw anything. I never saw anything. Like, yeah, I told all of them, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to look.
Yep. It's just like what I'm saying. It's like I want somebody to see this just to clarify what I'm seeing, because it's like I know what I'm seeing. But am I really seeing what I'm seeing? Kind of thing. If that makes any
Right.
sense.
What is it exactly? Because I'm not sure, kind of thing.
Right. There's some things there that it's. Am I seeing what I'm seeing, or is it just a blur?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a refracted
Yeah.
something from one of the street
And
lights
I
or
know
something
there's
like
some
that?
other things there that, oh yeah, this is a definite thing there, but I want someone to see it too.
Right. Like when you go to try to tell the cops about it, they don't want to look at it because you sound crazy. So you need somebody
Oh, they
else to
already
look at
think
it to
I'm
verify
crazy,
it.
but that's besides the point.
Oh, you're not eating squirrel turds, but you're also the stuff that you tell me that sounds crazy. When I go and look, you're telling the truth, so it's you
Right.
know
Yeah.
that's the difference. I can say that I believe you when I think that you're saying something that's crazy, but really, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you, hey, that sounds crazy, so I want to see it for myself because obviously. Either your
I
words aren't coming together right, or my brain
like
just isn't capable of
right.
forming it because I
Like
haven't seen it.
6 days, almost 6 days in a row of burn marks on this tarp. Like in a not quite in a row, but enough picture proof in a row type stuff. almost in a row to know that
It was on
they're on
more
my
than one
fucking
occasion.
window. Yes.
Yep. Well, I've been holding in having to go to the bathroom for a bit.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you go, and yeah, I'll yak it to you tomorrow, whenever.
Yes, ma'am. Well,
All
if you
right.
if you
So.
can't get to sleep or you hear any noises or you're getting creeped out, you can call me back in about 10 or 15 minutes or any
All
time
right.
after that. If you have a panic attack, call me up.
All right.
All right, you're good to go. Love you,
All
Tara.
right. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
I suppose I should give her my email address. I gotta go to the bathroom so bad, you got no idea. I want to say for the record that the stuff that she said last time I went over there, the stuff that she said that did sound crazy, I did go look, and it's not crazy. Like if you're gonna tell me that somebody's coming and burning holes in your tarp, and it's some sort of creepy, strange, crazy thing, when you're under a lot of stress and you're scared and you don't necessarily explain things the best. And as a result, it did sound crazy. I did go take a look. And yeah, when you've seen it, it's not the same as in the realm of as if it's fantasy. Somebody burning holes in a tarp, that's a far cry from saying that there's a unicorn in your backyard. It's a far cry from saying that Santa Claus is eating all your meatballs, you know? But also people who have endured trauma, especially long term trauma or recent trauma, that is going to be a communication issue that they are likely to have. I really got to go to the bathroom.